Hello, and welcome to How to Lead During COVID-19 in a Manufacturing Plant, sponsored by Caldwell and Associates. We specialize in two areas: operational excellence through the Shingo model, critical business problem solving, and we provide consulting, training, and technical coaching in both of those areas. We have a wealth of different industries we worked in. This is what sets us apart. Our people. We have associates we have three, including myself, Greg Battles, and Dr. Andrew Lux, and me, R.C. Caldwell. We all started out in engineering. We all had successful careers in corporate America in companies like GE, Johnson & Johnson, Medtronics, and General Motors. And we've had practical experience in the U.S. and overseas, internationally. And we specialize, again, in operational excellence and critical business problem solving. Here is today's agenda. We're going to talk about today's business environment in 2020. Then we're going to start with leading during the COVID-19 from a leadership team perspective, from the CEO, vice president, and that area. Then we're going to go through middle management, where we're going to look at the health and safety for COVID-19 to support an operational excellent culture. And then the next thing we're going to do, we're going to go down a level, down to frontline, where you have the supervisor and also the frontline workers, and we're going to talk about CDC 5S visual workplace to support your operational excellence culture. And then we're going to have a conclusion. So, starting with today's business environment in the U.S., COVID-19 throughout the whole world. It's affecting everybody in the whole world. Next, we have chaos in the government that's affecting the U.S. Then we have social unrest. All three of those things are impacting your employees. You may not believe that, but it's true, and it's changing your culture within your organization. So the question is, how do you run a successful business or manufacturing plant under these conditions? Now, we're not going to tackle all three of them, but we're going to focus on the COVID-19, which that is the highest and the most important. So let's look at COVID-19 in the U.S. In January of this year, the 21st, we had our first case in the state of Washington. As of the 21st of September, 2% of our population, that's 6.8 million people, have caught the virus and counting. And the sad thing is almost 200,000. We're so probably get 200,000 tomorrow. And it's sad. In 9 months, 200,000 people has died from COVID-19. And it's a sad case because we are supposed to be the world's leaders. And to put it in perspective, we're doing worse than the whole continent of Africa. And what's worse is flu season starts in the United States, according to the CDC, from October, which is next month, only a few weeks, to March, with the peak being in December and March. So the question is your plant prepared? Is your company prepared? Are you prepared as a leader? So leaders, the first thing you don't want to do is don't panic. Don't panic. Don't trust your gut. This is no time to say, I feel like going this direction, and I think I should go this direction. That's not the way to handle this. What you got to do is embrace scientific thinking. Then look from a long-term perspective, focus on the long term, because as a leadership team, especially as a leader, a CEO, you may be the only one in your company thinking long term, because people are worried about their family, they're worried about social issues, they worry about, if they're going to get paid or they're going to get sick from COVID. There's a lot of things in their mind right now that's depressing them. So what you need to do is focus on getting your workforce safely to the other side. And what the other side is, when we have a virus, we have a cure for the virus, this coronavirus, when we have a vaccine, and the vaccine has been distributed to a large population in the United States, somewhere in the neighborhood of 50 to 75%. That's when you're up to the other side. Until that time, what you need to do is put together a rebuild and recovery strategy for the other side, okay? And you need to focus on profits for 2021 and beyond. Those are the three big things that you must do and should be doing right now. So let's look at short-term tactical approach. Your short-term tactical approach should ensure the health and safety of your workforce today, creating bubbles for them inside the workplace, and then encouraging them to have movable bubbles, so they can stay safe, okay? Number two, be honest, consistent. As a team, as a leadership team, you must be transparent and have frequent messages throughout the plan. Very, very important to communicate consistently. You must be committed to your guiding principles. You need to go back and re-examine your guiding principles. You may have a principle that says something like, we take care of our associates and our team members, and we want to make sure that we create a good environment. Well, this is the time to live to that. Because if you don't, people are going to know and they're not going to want to be there. Okay? So that's very, very important. And if you have guidelines that say we want to take care of our top quality for our customers, and we want to continue, you got to continue to do that even in this harsh environment with Corona-19, where some of your supply chain may be impacted by that, especially in the next couple of months. So you must continue to work and improve your plant culture. And the reason being is your culture is changing, because this COVID-19, we don't know where it's going, all the ways that it's caught, we know it's caught through the air, but there may be other contact surfaces that it stays on. We know that from a scientific perspective, but we don't know if people can catch it from that. Not yet. Okay, next thing is to implement systematic operational excellence with safe Lean Six Sigma best practices. Okay, and that way you're starting to create that high performance culture. And I'm going to give you an example. And the example is, and this is going down a level to the front line and the supervisory level, and we're going to talk about CDC 5S visual workspace. And we're going to use that as an example of how you would implement and the impact that it have on your culture. And lastly, don't focus on losses for 2020. If you have losses, if you don't, then that's a good thing. If you do, don't focus on them. Let them go. A lot of people have lost, even your employees have had losses, especially during the shutdown. So your recovery should focus on 2021 and beyond. So here is a graphic of the long-term approach to your rebuild and recovery strategy. It has four major phases. One is alignment of your guiding principle. That's where you want to start, so you make sure you're walking the walk. The next is you want to get your core team. The leadership team want to pass on the core team alignment and commitment to the short-term strategy. Okay, and that short-term strategy, once you have that commitment and you know what it is, you want to start launching that. Okay, and you want to launch it in phases. In this particular diagram, I'm showing 6 plants total, phase 1 with 3 plants, phase 2 with the other three plants, and it's doing the other phase 2 is doing the mobilization of commitment. Okay, and hopefully, ideally, if we have this other side where we have a vaccine and we have a COVID-19 vaccine where we can distribute it to a majority of the population. Hopefully, when you get to that critical mass, that'll be the same time you come to the other side. Now we're going to focus on health and safety for COVID-19 to support our operational excellence culture, because it's part of the number one thing we should do long term, and the short term it should be focused on too in order to achieve it. Number one in both. So your leadership team should already have these things already. A guideline for testing, pay for the COVID. You should install some type of method of contact tracing. NBA and NFL is using these safe zone tags. If you don't know what they are, they record when you contact within 6 feet of people, and it gives you that data. So those are real good. Then you can use cameras. Samsung has watches. The cameras, you must inform people that it's not a big brother purpose, but for contact tracing. The next thing the leadership team should revisit is the continual airflow in the plant, because you know flu season is coming. So you should, if you're not monitoring, you might want to monitor. Make sure your filters are all up to date, kept records of. You need to be tracking when the filters are being replaced. Okay, your PEE must be needed. You got to make sure that you have an adequate supply. It's going to be important. And then revisit your temperature screening team. You know, making sure you got the right people there, making sure the team had the appropriate PEE again, making sure they know the right procedure and they're following it. Make sure you have a quick and accurate readings. Okay, so it's not taking a long time. So revisit, make sure everything's ready, because we know this is flu season coming up. Then you should have a strategic staggered start and end time. It should be strategic. And this, let me give you an example. Say for instance, we're on the assembly line and we start at 7. So this is a diagram at 6:59 before the shift start, first shift. We have a press operator, we have a assembly operator, and we have a pack operator in this example. So this is a simulation. So at 7 o'clock, this could be a team operator, but the first operator comes in and he starts his CDC cleaning of the press, okay? And then he starts production. So now he's feeding the assembly operator, and then at 7:10, second operator comes in and starts the CDC 5S shine, okay, cleaning and all that good stuff before the shift start, wiping the critical area, start production. All right, and feeding the pack. Now at 7:20, the third shift operator comes in and starts to clean it. And that's how you strategically stagger it. If you notice, they feed the people that started, and the downstream operator came in first, fed the upstream operators. That's how you can be productive. And the same thing at shift end, at the end of the day or during breaks. Say the end of the day is at 3:50 for the press operator, and they do their shine, and then they leave work. Now the second shift operator at 3:10 leaves work, and the pack operator starts shining, and then the pack operator, and that's how it works. Okay, now let's go to visual workplace, the CDC 5S visual workplace to support the operational excellence culture. What is the CDC 5S? It's to create the cultural foundation for a safe workplace for COVID-19. That's all it is. And what is 5S? Well, 5S Visual Workplace is a Lean Six Sigma tool. It is a method of creating a self-contained culture that maintains a neat and clean and effective workplace. And it fits right in to today for this COVID-19. Here is the 5S definition. First, and this is a sequence that you would bring it in. If you're not applying it now, this is the sequence, okay? And then after you supply it, you still may need this sequence. First, you sort. You separate and eliminate unwanted items in your work area. Okay, and then you set in order. There's a place for everything. Everything should have, and things that you use to support your machine, or say for instance you're cooking and you have your pots and pans hanging somewhere where they conveniently got from the cooker. Okay, so that's what we're talking about. Okay, and there's a place for everything, and that's set in order. And then shine. Shine is you got to keep your place removed from dust and grub. And then you want to do those heavily contact areas, CDC cleaning, where you're using disinfectant. Very important. And next, you want to standardize your procedure. So everybody on all 3 shifts are doing it the same way. Everybody in all 3 shifts are doing the same way. And you standardize this procedure of cleaning. And then you sustain it. You monitor it. You have the team members monitor. You also have your supervisors monitor. And then it's like a do loop, and you use each one when you need them, when it's applicable, and you constantly do it. And let's dig into the shine a little bit more. Number 1, the CDC recommends you use soap and water. Then after you use soap and water and clean all the dirt and grime, use household disinfectant. And you want to do that, especially on the heavily touched surface area. And the next thing we recommend is standardizing. Okay, I'm just going over 3 of the 5. And the ones that are very, very important and need to be looked at. The best type is video. This one is just an example showing someone making a pizza and dough preparation. If I wanted to see what the dough preparation, I can read the description, I can read the quality points and safety points, and then I can click on the video and see how it's done and watch him actually toss the pizza and say, okay, I got it. I can repeat that. Okay, video is the best standard work that you can produce. All right. So sustain is the toughest. It's the hardest one of the 5S to do because it requires daily auditing by the management team and also the team. It also forces you to stick to it. You want to make it part of your culture. You want to make it part of who you are. Okay, basically. And then next, here is a picture of the Ford plant supplied by CBS 60 Minutes, and it shows social distancing. It's kind of fuzzy picture, but you can see the operators behind plexiglass, got plexiglass separated them, and then you got Mr. Ford walking up and down, CEO of the company. Visual workplace shop floor. Okay, you can see labels on some of the bins. Things are neat where they can get to them. The floor is shiny, clean, 5S. Okay, and then you have a visual office meetings where you have people spaced out. Some seats you can sit in, some seats you can't. Have them identified. Have your work area also signage. And when possible, like buyers, sellers, marketing people, let them work from home. Okay, if you have the right type of organization and the commitment, and you have the right culture, and number 1, you have the right alignment with your customer data and that type of thing, let them people work from home. Okay, and social distance with the people that come in the office, and have social distance signs and social distance layouts and markings on the floor. And again, in the cafeteria, arrange social distance for cashier lines, social distance for where you can eat and sit in the sitting areas. And last and not least, the benefits. The benefit of all this is to prevent the spread of COVID-19, almost creating a bubble within your work area, and asking your people and encouraging your people to have moving bubbles as they leave the plant and deal with their everyday lives. Plus, it improves your safety, ergonomics. It supports healthy workforce. It eliminates distraction and improved quality. You may have heard the expression clean plant, quality plant. Those have traditionally go hand in hand. So that's part of this. So next is conclusion. What we learned today is, as a leader, we got to focus on the long term, and number one, get your workforce safely to the other side. The number two big one is put together a rebuild and recovery strategy. And number three big one, focus on profit for 2021 and beyond, not on the profit losses this year. Short-term tactical approach. In summary, support the big three long-term approach. That's number one. Then number two, build a high-performance culture now. Because see, people got to be happy to come and work, all right, under this COVID-19 thing. While it's still out there and we don't have a vaccine for it, it's very important that people want to be there. In high-performance cultures, people want to be there. And number three, develop an excellence for 2021 and beyond. You want an atmosphere of excellence, okay, for 2021 and beyond. Okay, I'd like to thank you for your time, number one. If you'd like more information and more detailed information, you can contact Andrew Lux at 330-289-1041, or you can contact me directly at 937-367-6743. If you want to find out more about Caldwell's and Associate, go to caldwellsassociateexcel.com. And again, I'd like to thank you for your time and have a great day.